LSU goes on the road yesterday and has a hideous loss. Not in the sense of what it's going to cost this LSU team, which I think is negligible. We'll get to more of that in a second. But just the way and the nature that it played out. And Will said it best last night when you talk about this loss to Florida.
Yeah, it was just a thorough butt whipping from start to finish. They just dominated us. So not much we can say. I think the one bright spot was, Bishop has shown this in practice, and we just hadn't put him in. Obviously, with what happened with Manning, we knew we may have to play him, and I think Bishop showed that he can help us out. He guarded at a high level. Offensively, he's very, very good. I know the shot he hit at the end of the shot clock there looked crazy, but he hits those all the time. I mean, you've seen him in practice. He hits those all the time. So he showed that he can help us. I guess that's the silver lining in tonight.
A little surprised to hear Will say that, because if James Bishop, wouldn't it stand to reason? He played 17 minutes last night. He hadn't played that many since the win over Northwestern State on December the 8th, when he played 21 minutes. From that game against Northwestern State, he had only played in 4 games. 7 minutes against East Tennessee State, 3 in the loss to South Carolina. And he only played in 2 SEC games. He played in the win at Ole Miss, played 1 minute in the win at Ole Miss, and played 2 minutes in the win at home against Ole Miss. That's it. Played 3 minutes of SEC play. Played 17 minutes last night. So part of me goes, okay, Bishop could do it, especially at the time where you're really struggling, and you were struggling for depth. You're really running just a 6-man rotation. I mean, why wasn't he in the game? But nonetheless, Bishop did get a couple of minutes in the ball game last night. But, man, that's such an aside to what transpired last night. Keontae Johnson, who Will Wade said before the game has been a nightmare, was a nightmare. 25-11. Scotty Lewis, the freshman, had a career night, 18 points. And for LSU, worst loss of the season. 81-66. Worst loss of the season for LSU. Skylar Mays had the worst game of his career. Scored just 3 points. Certainly his worst game of the season. There was a really rough sequence for Skylar where, man, you know what's crazy? If you saw the when he missed, kind of clanked the dunk off the iron, the move that he had to get that open dunk, he put the Florida defender, he broke ankles, put the kid on skates, whatever phrase you want to use, and then he missed the dunk. And then he misses a wide open 3, and then he missed a layup, airballed a layup, which is just stunning to see how all that transpired. But it was that kind of night. Even when LSU did good things, like when Bishop hit Will Wade referenced Bishop hitting that fall-away 3 at the end of the shot clock. It was crazy looking, but it went in. Well, next possession, LSU gets a stop. Next possession down. They give the ball to Bishop in the right corner, puts it on the ground, drives to the goal, falling away, gets hacked, count it, off the glass, and 1, misses the free throw. Florida gets a 3. It was just that kind of night for LSU. So the game was a total clunker, happened at an inopportune time. It was an opportunity for LSU it was a resume builder. It was a seed game for LSU, and they missed that opportunity. It was insult to injury, literally, when you consider the Charles Manning news that Manning is now done for the season. The same injury in his other foot now that kept him out for weeks with a broken bone in his left foot, or his right, now it's his left. Either way, whatever, same injury, other foot, that's going to end his season. So it's going to limit your bench. But this much, I know. The loss last night didn't cost LSU in terms of its NCAA hopes. Let's look at some of the bracketology that's out there today. For example, Joe Lunardi at ESPN has his latest bracketology out, and he has your Fighting Tigers of LSU. I'm looking for the line. He's got them on the 8 line, and, well, I'm sorry, I had it, and now I'm missing it. My apologies. Anyway, Joe Lunardi today has LSU. I was trying to pull up the graphic for you, and I can't find it. Anyway, Joe Lunardi, there it is. My apologies. I'm sorry. In the West, he's got LSU on the 8 line in the West. So Gonzaga as the 1 seed there against the winner of the play-in game. And then LSU is the 8 against Rutgers, the 9 seed. So out in Spokane. So That's obviously not ideal to have to travel across the country as the 8 seed and potentially play the 1 seed, but what it is, and Joe Lunardi's got LSU still on the 8 line. What about Jerry Palm of CBS Sports? Well, Jerry Palm has his bracketology out today, and Jerry Palm has LSU in the South region, also on the 8 line, taking on the 9 seed St. Mary's, with the winner taking on likely Baylor as the 1 seed, who he has in their opening matchup against South Dakota State. So both Jerry Palm and Joe Lunardi have LSU, after last night's loss, still on the 8 line. What about Shelby Mast? Shelby Mast, Bracket WAG that we talk about all the time. Shelby Mast has LSU today, and USA Today, by the way. He's got LSU in the East region in New York as a 7 seed. So even after last night's loss, one bracketologist has LSU on the 7 line. The other 2 primary bracketologists have LSU on the 8 line. So my point is, as bad as last night was, and it was hideous, and this LSU team, they're certainly not winning the SEC. They're mathematically eliminated from that with 5 losses now. Kentucky sitting at 2 with 3 to play. LSU can't win the SEC, and they're not going to win a national title. For me, the best case scenario for this LSU team is try to win your first, which is realistic, win your 2 remaining home games, and you're in the tournament, regardless of what happens at Arkansas. If you manage to go 3-0 down the stretch, maybe even get a win in Nashville, get your double bye, get a win or 2 in Nashville, now you're talking about seeding. Could you jump up to the 7 or even the 6 line? Maybe. And then hope that what the committee spits out is a favorable draw and you're able to win a couple of games and play to the second weekend. If that happens, awesome. I think that would be a major win for this season, considering the deficiencies. The lack of a true point guard, no real rim protector, the injury that's caused you to have a limited bench. There is no question this is a flawed basketball team. They do not shoot the basketball well. They don't play a lick of defense. They certainly lack a true ball handle. We played 28 games. We have a 28 game sample. We know what this LSU team is. And they're not great, period. That's it. But are they going to very likely play into the tournament and hopefully get a favorable draw that can win a couple games? Sure, why not? Let's see how crazy things happen in March. It's why it's a lot of fun. But you got to win your 2 home games. As a matter of fact, Will Wade, when he talked on the LSU Sports Radio Network after the game last night, talked about that A&M game and how important it is.
It's a huge game for us. They're playing great. They just went on the road at Alabama. They played well against Kentucky last night. So we're going to need to play a lot better than we did tonight if we want to win. So it's a must-win. The winner of this game was pretty much in, and the loser's going to spend the next couple weeks on the bubble. So we came up on the wrong side of it, and we've got to go to work.
I will disagree with Will on the notion that Saturday is a must-win, because and maybe this is just semantics, but for me, you know how I feel about the must-win term. It's you only pull out must-win when you literally have to win, or your chance to win a championship, or your season ends. It's if you were in a tie for the SEC, for the lead in the SEC, and a loss eliminates you from contention, then it's a must-win from that perspective. This isn't a must-win on Saturday for LSU, but if you want to guarantee your spot in the tournament, you win your 2 remaining home games with Texas A&M and Georgia. So I wouldn't classify it as a must-win because LSU could still get in even if they lose Saturday. But my goodness, this is about as close as you can to controlling your own destiny. Is beat A&M, and then next Saturday win at home against Georgia, and then regardless of what happens at Arkansas, you should be in. So Tigers at home Saturday against the Texas A&M Aggies, and of course it's going to be a really special day out at the Maravich Center because they're going to retire the jersey of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. His 35 will hang in the rafters. LSU's done a great job, I think, of promoting this, and hopefully it's an awesome turnout on Saturday at the Maravich Center for a team that's playing for a lot on Saturday, and one of the all-time greats is going to be recognized. Mahmoud, his 965 points as a freshman is an NCAA freshman record, 2-time All-American, 2-time SEC Player of the Year. Certainly worthy of this honor. Some wonder why it might have taken so long, but to bring Chris Jackson, a.k.a. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, back into the Maravich Center and have his jersey hang there with the likes of Bob Pettit, Pete Maravich, Shaq, and Rudy Macklin. My opinion, long overdue, and thrilled that it's going to happen on Saturday. So hopefully it's a great crowd out there to support number 35 as that banner will be unfurled in the rafters.